Josiah became king of Judah when he was only 8 years old. That single fact already makes his story remarkable. An 8-year-old does not rule by wisdom or experience. He rules shaped by what surrounds him. But Josiah did not inherit a legacy of faith. His grandfather Manasseh reigned for more than 50 years and led Judah into deep idolatry. Scripture says he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood. Idols replaced obedience and violence replaced reverence for God. His father, Amon, followed the same path. He abandoned the Lord and ruled for only 2 years before being assassinated. By the time Josiah ascended the throne, Judah was spiritually broken and politically unstable. The palace where he grew up had lost the fear of the Lord at its highest levels. And yet Scripture records something unexpected. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord and walked in all the way of David his father. No explanation is given. The Bible simply states it, leaving us to wonder how faith could grow in such darkness. The chronicler adds an important detail. While Josiah was still young, he began to seek the God of David his father. This seeking happened before the book of the law was discovered in the temple. His faith did not begin with public reform or written instruction. It began quietly. Scripture never names a prophet who discipled him. It never identifies a priest who guided his conscience. But Scripture does record the name of his mother, her name Jedidah, and her name Beloved. The Bible does not tell us that Jedidah taught Josiah the law, and we must not speculate beyond what Scripture says. But Scripture is intentional in what it preserves. Naming his mother places a relational frame around his story. In a palace filled with idolatry, God preserved a woman whose very name testified to love and belonging. Josiah's faith did not begin in the temple courts. It began somewhere earlier. Somewhere smaller, somewhere unseen. This reflects a wider biblical pattern. God often nurtures faith long before it becomes public. Covenant faith in Israel was rarely preserved by kings. More often it survived in households, names, stories, and quiet reverence for God. When the book of the law was later, Josiah, he tore his garments and humbled himself before the Lord. This was not the response of someone encountering God for the first time. It was the response of a heart that already feared him. Josiah shows us that God can awaken faith even in the darkest environments. But Scripture also leaves us waiting for a king whose righteousness would not merely reform a nation, but redeem it. Waiting for one who would not rediscover the law, but fulfill it. And in that waiting, we are taught to honor the quiet beginnings of faith, often shaped long before revival is visible, and often carried by those history barely names.